Hello and welcome to another Rivals of Ixalan draft here on the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. Okay, so jumping right into it. Tomb Robber is a card that I have seen do good things, I've seen it do bad things. I think it's overall like medium. It's like not great, not bad. Like you can play this card in your deck, but it's not a high pick by any means. It doesn't make you want to play black. Silvergill Adept is a card that's good in blue. I mean, in blue-green specifically. If you get enough Merfolk, just 2 mana, 2/1 draw card is obviously fantastic. Swift Warden's a card that can be pretty good. 3 mana, 3/3 is already pretty good, and giving it flash and random upside is also nice. Bombard, I think, is going to be the pick out of this pack. It's very flexible, easy to splash in any deck. I don't mind playing red. Some people do mind playing red. They don't like red in this format, but I think red's fine. And I like Bombard here over Swift Warden. I think it's kind of close, but I think the fact that Bombard is splashable makes it more playable in many decks, so you'll get to play it a little bit more than Swift Warden. So I'm going to take it here. Evolving Wild is fine, but obviously not first pick. And now pack 2, pick 1. So not much. I mean, there's an uncommon missing out of this pack, I think. I think there's 8 commons in a pack. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, 10 commons. I really should know that stat. I've never counted before. I usually just know when the rare is missing. So I think there's an uncommon missing, though. We don't really know much about signals. Obviously, we just passed a Silvergill Adept, so and passed Swift Warden. I think Swift Warden is going to be the pick, so I think we passed a green card that's going to get taken. I don't think we're going to be in the market for Jungle Creeper. Paladin of Atonement has been fine for me, but you more want it in like blue-white where you race in the skies and you don't want them to attack you. It never really becomes a huge blocker. It's also fine in black because you compare it with like Fathom Fleet Porters because this plus this is kind of okay. It just makes us a 2/2. Legion Conquistador is also fine. I think we're going to gamble, though, and take Silvergill Adept. I think it's the highest upside card. I don't really want to play red-white with Legion Conquistadors. I think Legion Conquistador is better in other archetypes. And this pack's kind of weak overall. There's not a good red card, so we'll gamble. Okay, now the pick is between Moment of Craving and Thrashing Brontodon, and I think I'm going to take the Brontodon here. I really like having a 3 mana 3/4. Its ability is usually pretty relevant. Moment of Craving is fine, but the 2 life is not insanely relevant in this format a lot of the time. Also, if I take the Brontodon, I could end up blue-green, and then my Silvergill Adept pick works out, and I think that would work out nicely. So I'm going to take the Brontodon here. And now a Kitesail Corsair. I think Stormfleet Sprinter does deserve some consideration because I have a red card and a blue card, but the Silvergill Adept is only really good if I play blue-green. It's not really good. Like, there's some decks where you would still run it outside of blue-green just because you got enough Merfolk. But I think I'm going to take Corsair here. Frilled Death Spitter is the second best card in this pack, I think, and then probably the Sprinter. But I think I'm just going to take the Corsair I think it's just the best card by a mile in that pack. Okie doke. So now this pack is kind of interesting. There's another Conquistador, but I don't think I'm playing white. There's a Pterodon, but I don't think I'm playing white. Aquatic Incursion is a card that has been fine for me. I don't prioritize it. I'd much rather have a Crashing Tide, just because it's just pretty much exactly what Merfolk needs in order to compete. You need to have cheap creatures that get you on the board, and then you bounce their big plays that could stabilize them. So pretty much exactly what Merfolk wants. The white cards could be open, but I think we'll wait like at least 1 more or 2 more picks before moving into white if white continues to look open. And it looks like red is not very open. So we're going to just take the Crashing Tide here. Okie doke. So this pack, there is a great 2-drop for Merfolk, so I think I'm going to take that over a Dreadmaw. Merfolk doesn't really want to have Dreadmaws. I mean, I think Merfolk would ideally have like 1 top-end card, like an Air Elemental or a Dreadmaw, but you don't need to prioritize those because there's a lot of expensive bombs you can get. And Giltgrove Stalker is the ideal 2-drop for a Merfolk deck because it's hard to block, and it's a Merfolk. So at this point, I think I'm committed to Merfolk. And now I'm just going to take another Crashing Tide. Pretty much like just excellent interaction for a Merfolk deck. There's nothing else really excellent in this pack. This card's okay. This card's okay if you're playing... I think this card's if you're playing blue-red and you have Buccaneers, Bravado, Tillinolly's Crown is playable. Oh my goodness. So, late pickup here. Kitesail Corsair is a little bit better than Jungleborn Pioneer, I think. And there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, we still could move off green technically if we see open like a red bomb. And second of all, even though this is a Merfolk and makes 2 bodies, this has evasion immediately coming down on turn 2. So this can get in for like 6 hits or 4 or 5 hits if they don't have an answer. And it's also a pretty fine late game top deck. I do like Jungleborn Pioneer, but I think I'm taking the Corsair here. Okay, now this pick is a bit tougher. There's a decent flyer, but I don't think this flyer is insane in Merfolk. Sometimes you'll just rather have a hexproof guy. An aggressive urge is fine, but not really in this deck because I have all 1 toughness guys, so they'll all be trading anyway. So I think I'm going to take the Soul of the Rapids here just for some hexproof. It's like the finisher card I was talking about. It's not really an insane finisher, but it's a fine one. I don't think I'm really in the market for a Spirewinder, though. It is 4 mana. I guess I'll take 4 mana over. Yeah, I'm just going to take this card. I think Soul of the Rapids being unable to be interacted with is a huge boon for Merfolk. So hexproof is kind of nice there. Makes or any auras you pick up a little bit better. And now I'm just gonna take Moment of Triumph. You're just gonna hate draft this pick. Pretty much taking Negate for the sideboard. Mistcloaked Herald is nice, a nice little pickup here. I think Merfolk's open, and we got the Soul of the Rapids, so that makes my other pick a little bit worse. And we even got a Naturalize, which is a card I do not mind boarding in depending on the matchup and what my opponent's doing. So I think the deck's looking pretty strong right now. Soul of the Rapids is a decent finish, top-end card. Though now I'd rather have 1 Spirewinder and 1 Soul of the Rapids. There was no guarantee I'd get the second one. I probably won't play both in an ideal world. I might not even play one of them. Okay, so this pack, there is an Aquatic Incursion, which I think I'm going to pick here. Actually, I'm just going to take Crashing Tide. I think Crashing Tide is just excellent in Merfolk. It's pretty much exactly what you want. We don't really need an Aquatic Incursion because all of our guys already have a pretty decent evasion. We do need to start picking up some more Merfolk eventually because of our Silvergill Adept, but I think we'll probably get there. Spirewinder is nice. We already have enough 2-drops right now, so we don't need Hardy Veteran. I think we'll end up getting more 2-drops, but interaction is going to be harder to find. And Seafloor Oracle is just a bomb in Merfolk. We don't have a ton of Merfolk right now. We actually only have 3 other Merfolk, but all 3 of them work pretty well with it. This one's hard to block, this one's hard to block, this one needs more Merfolk. So we're just going to take this card. It's probably going to be very good in our deck. And then we might wheel one of the Aquatic Incursions, and that would be pretty good with it as well. So right now our deck's looking pretty sweet. We do need some hard removal, I think. 1 or 2 pieces of hard removal would not be missed in this deck. It'd actually be quite nice. But yeah, Seafloor Oracle is quite good if you can like play it and immediately hit them. Okay, another Giltgrove Stalker, another 2-drop Merfolk. As I said before, you don't really need to prioritize 4-drops. I feel like either Jadecraft or Spirewinder or Deadeye will come back for me. So I think I'm fine just taking another good Merfolk 2-drop. And another Kitesail Corsair. Having enough 2-drops is really important for an aggro deck. It really just lets you get on the board. And Kitesail Corsair is one of the best 2-drops in the format. So I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at. And now I'll take a Siren Reaver. That's one of the benefits of having a ton of 2-drops is you can play cards like Siren Reaver. And my curve out of Kitesail Corsair into one of these 3-drops is just going to be very hard to beat, I think. Hardy Veteran is a card that I'm not going to need in this deck because I already have 6 2-drops. Spirewinder could be fine. Jade Bear is a card I'm not really hyped on. I don't really like that card. And yeah. Okay, so over the 4th Crashing Tide, I'm going to take a Water Knot. Tempo is good, but sometimes you just need to get rid of a creature for good. Like if they have a... Yeah, there's a lot of creatures that you just want to get rid of for good. Like sometimes you don't have the power to immediately kill them before they can replay it, and you just want permanent removal. So I'm just going to take the Water Knot here over the Crashing Tide number 4. It's usually good to diversify your threats as well. And now I'm going to take a Jungleborn Pioneer. Pretty nice 3-drop for Merfolk. Good with Seafloor Oracle. And now I can take a Deadeye Rig Hauler. So this deck is really coming together. Slippery Scoundrel is a card that's fine, but my deck doesn't really get Ascend all that easily. And Deadeye Rig Hauler is amazing with Kitesail Corsair because you can attack them, bounce one of their guys, and just gain a ton of tempo. And now Aquatic Incursion came back. I think I'm going to take that over the Spirewinder just because Aquatic Incursion works really well with my Seafloor Oracle. It gives me a decent late game of making my guys unblockable. And Spirewinder's fine, but I think I might get another one of those. There was also another Aquatic Incursion that I almost kind of banked on picking up maybe. I don't think I'm going to play a River Darter, so I think I'll take another Aquatic Incursion. And that could be a good pickup for me. It's just kind of good with Seafloor Oracle, good with all my bounce spells. I could take a Secrets of the Golden City for some extra card draw, but I think I'm already going to be going through my deck fairly well with Crashing Tides and Seafloor Oracles. and I don't think I'm going to need all of those extras. So I could take a River Darter, but I think I'm just going to take the Aquatic Incursion #2. Maybe not start in my main deck. I don't have a ton of experiences with this card, but I think it gives you some decent inevitability. I probably will only run one in the main deck, and I might sideboard the second one, depending on the matchup. But as you can see, my deck is pretty open here. I have 19 playables going into pack 3. Heavy blue, which is pretty good for me. I do have a double green card, but this card's fine later on in the game. And now it's between Deadeye Rigcaller and Jadecraft Artisan. I think it's a close pick, but I think, as I said before, I think Deadeye Rigcaller could be a little bit better, just because I have so many flying creatures, some unblockable guys, and bouncing their stuff could be good. Pumping is pretty relevant, but I think I'm just going to take the Jadecraft Artisan. The reason being is that, first of all, it's usually good to diversify your stuff. Second of all, I do want to make sure I get enough Merfolk. And now I'll take I guess I'll take a Jade Bearer. I don't love Jade Bearer, but I don't really want Sea Legs in this deck. And Jade Bearer can actually have some uses. So part of the reason I took the Jadecraft Artisan is because I do still have the Silvergill Adept, and I only had 1, 2, 3, 4. I only had like 5 other Merfolk at the time, so I just want to make sure I got enough Merfolk. Deep-root Water is not really what I want to be doing. River Sneak, however, could be quite good. It's unblockable. It's quite strong. Deep-root Warrior is also fine, but I think I'd rather have River Sneak in this deck, and that makes me want to play Aquatic Incursion a bit more, because that puts 2 Merfolk into play. Deep-root Warrior is good, but I think River Sneak is going to be very good in my deck, in particular because I have several things that put 2 down. Unblockable is really good with Seafloor Oracle. Jade Bearer could make it a little bit better. I'm probably not playing the Jade Bearer, to be honest, but having stuff that's hard to interact with is one of the keys for Merfolk. And now I'm just going to snap up a River Herald's Boon. I know I was just talking about how good River Sneak was going to be, but River Herald's Boon is exactly what you want in Merfolk. It lets you win combats, it lets you have bigger threats, and it's pretty much just the best card. One of the best cards you can have in Merfolk. So that card's going to get cut for that. Actually, probably going to cut a Soul of the Rapids. Ripjaw Raptor may not be a Merfolk, but it's just an excellent, powerful card. Hard to deal with. They kind of just have to give you cards if they want to. It's just a 4-mana 4/5. Great ability. I think we're just going to take that here easily over like a Ravenous Daggertooth. And now I will play that over an Aquatic Incursion. This is what I was saying, though, about the not needing to prioritize 4-drops. As you can see, I already have a ton of them. And now I'll take a Pounce. I probably won't play it, but none of these other cards are really going to make my deck. I'm not going to play an Opt in a deck that's so aggressive and needs to just play creatures on curve, and not going to play Spell Pierce because I already have a Negate. So Pounce could make the cut depending on how my deck ends up looking. I think this deck is looking quite strong right now. I do want to get a couple more 3-drops, but can't always get what you need. So Water Trap Weaver, ideal 3-drop, just some more tempo plays. The thing, I would like to have another River Sneak, but I could table the other one. Jade Guardian's not insane when I don't have a 1 with the Wind. If I had a 1 with the Wind, I might take this card, but I do have a ton of 4-drops. And River Sneak is good with Seafloor Oracle, but I do already have a couple unblockable guys. I have 7 2-drops, so I'm probably going to be good on those. And Water Trap Weaver is a great 3-drop, helps me keep attacking, and I'm just going to take that here. And this is another interesting pick. Jade Guardian is obviously good if you can get like 1 with the Winds or double it up with River Herald's Boon. It can also put counters on your unblockable guys. Storm Sculptor's a bit of negative tempo. I think I'm going to take Jade Guardian over the Storm Sculptor. I don't really want either of the cards, though. They're both not really what I want to be doing in this type of Merfolk deck. I think this one's just like slightly higher upside if I have like a 1 with the Wind here. Now I'll take Crash the Ramparts. Might play it, probably won't. Crash the Ramparts is much better when you have bigger creatures. It's not really great when you have like a 2/1 that's getting blocked. So here's where we see if the River Sneaks start to come back. Because if they do, I can just start cutting my Soul of the Rapids and just kind of go all out on the Aquatic Incursions to buff my River Sneaks. I could potentially have had 3 River Sneaks if I had taken all of them. But I think I like where I'm at right now. All my 2-drops are pretty good, hard to interact with. This is one of the decks that just showcases how good Golden Demise is because it kills like almost all of my creatures. And this is a gift. Vine Shaper Mystic is just excellent. Perfect card to curve it out with like a Guild Grove Stalker or Silver Gill Adept River Sneak. We first picked a Bombard, actually, Danbat. But then we kind of moved into Merfolk very early. And this looks excellent in our deck. I don't think we're a Deep-Root Waters deck. I think we're just going to take Run Aground for some more interaction. Pretty nice pickup here. Yeah. And we did get the River Sneak back, which is pretty good, because that means we'll probably get the next River Sneak back. Maybe not. We don't need a Ravenous Daggertooth. We're just going to take a cancel for the sideboard. And getting that River Sneak back. Oh, we did get the River Sneak back. So our deck ended up incredible. We got the 3 River Sneaks we wanted. Probably going to play Jade Guardian now. Or we might play the Jade Guardian now. Or just the Aquatic Incursion. Let's sort by convert mana cost. Our deck is insane, I think. But we'll just see what we end up with. We have a lot of unblockable guys, and then the Seafloor Oracle just makes all of our unblockable guys, draws extra cards. So, okay, so we're going to group creatures separately. Let's see what we're working with. So we're definitely running these. All of our interactions pretty good. We probably only need 1 Aquatic Incursion, even though it is super good. It is super good with River Sneak, so we'll keep it in for now. We're going to cut Jade Bear. It is kind of good with River Sneak, but it's kind of useless on its own. Our opponent's going to struggle to block our stuff, and they'll just usually have a guy that can just sit around and block that all day long. I love all of our 2-drops. I love all of our creatures a ton. I don't think we need Jade Guardian for the same reason we don't need the Jade Bearer. I mean, obviously Jade Guardian's better, but we do still have a pretty high curve here. We don't really want double Aquatic Incursion. Drawing both ever at any point seems horrible. Siren Reaver is really a 3-drop in our deck because of all of our 2-drops. If we can cut enough 4s, we could just run less lands. So, I mean, we could just run 16 if we can cut a couple more 4-drops. So I think we'll be trying to do that. We could cut Jadecraft Artisan. I think all of our interactions pretty good. We could just cut another Aquatic Incursion. We don't really have a good way to use the tokens. And then we could cut, I think Deadeye Rig Hauler is going to be good, but I think Jadecraft Artisan is going to be better. So I think we're going to cut that. We already do have a ton of bounce. I think we'd rather have a Run Aground than a Rig Hauler. So I think we're going to run it like this. These are the cards that I would consider running. Not going to run this card over a Jade Guardian, I don't think. I don't like Jade Bearer because I don't really want to play it on turn 1, and I do have a really good curve. I don't think I need Soul of the Rapids at all. I don't think I need Crash. I don't think my deck is very good for Pounce. I'm going to run Ripjaw Raptor just because it's such a big body, and same with the Thrashing Brontodon. Rig Hauler is a card that I would like to run. Let's see. Let's combine the groups. So I don't really want to run a ton of 4-drops, though, is the problem. And I kind of do want to run 16 lands in this deck because I don't have a ton. I do have a couple decent mana sinks. I mean, this card's just going to let me draw infinite cards pretty much if I ever get it, draw it. But this card helps me like smooth my draw a little bit. It's close on how many lands to run. I do have Crashing Tides, which help me get through my deck. So I think 16 lands is going to be good. So I don't want a ton of 4-drops. So I think this is weaker than the Deadeye Rig Hauler would be in my deck. I think my Rig Hauler is going to be quite good. I think Rig Hauler is always going to be on. So I think it's just basically like a 4-mana war. Hello, Cornball78. It's going pretty well. This deck is kind of hard to build. We got the triple sneak pretty late too. I was pretty sure they were going to wheel, but I wasn't 100%. Or I had a decent idea that they would wheel. We could cut. I think we're going to cut Brontodon for Deadeye Rig Hauler, just because that way we can run more islands, and double green on turn 3 is going to be kind of hard for us to do. I think Ripjaw Raptor is strong enough to warrant it, but I don't think we want. I think this card is insane. But I think it's going to be too hard for our mana. So this way we can run 9/7. 7 green sources is not enough to have it on turn 3 consistently. And that way, and the Rig Hauler is also excellent in our deck. So 9/7, 7. Yeah, this is an insane deck. I love it. We have 1 piece of hard removal with our Water Knot. We have a ton of like hard to block creatures. excellent curve. I think this is going to be a slam dunk deck. And this is one of the reasons why we don't have Brontodon, because this hand is very keepable. But if we had Brontodon in this hand, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, if we drew Brontodon in this hand, it just wouldn't be good. Yeah, because we do have a ton of blue cards, so we need to have all the islands. So I think we're going to play Corsair first, because it hits for more damage, especially if we curve into the Reaver. So this is a bit awkward because we have the Vine Shaper Mystic now. Wow, 3 colors on turn 3. Okay, so now we can play that. Him letting us attack is a great sign because now we can get down our Siren Reaver. So the two potential lines, we're playing River Sneak second and curving into this, or playing a River Sneak second and maybe drawing a land to play our Vine Shaper. Okay, so Regisar is going to have to get bounced. Okay, that was a pretty excellent draw. So we're going to play our Mistcloaked Herald. We're going to Crashing Tide the Regisar. Oh my gosh, that was an excellent draw too. Hit him for 5. Okie doke. And now, even if he does get the Regisar down, I think it's going to be too late for him. Yep. Oh yeah, that's just going to be game. That's why we have the bounce spells. They're just so good in board states like this. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we'll just play our River Sneak post-combat. This could be worse than just double pumping with our boon, but I think since we have lethal next turn anyway and it's all unblockable, we'll just save our boon. But this does create a glut of green cards in our hand, so playing boon instead of the sneak to just double pump that could have been better. He'd be at 5 right now, and any 2 of our creatures alone would be lethal. It also plays around Golden Demise better, so yeah, I think that was a mistake. I definitely considered that line. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, maybe he's drawing for it. Please don't have it. Oh, thank goodness. I was about to say I just got so punished to the max. But yeah. So this is going to be lethal unless he has a Reckless Rage. We're going to pump up our... Yep, okay, that's game. Not going to show him the River Herald's boon. Okay, so I think this deck is pretty good against what he's doing. Brontodon's smaller than his stuff anyway. Don't really want Jade Bearer. Pounce is probably bad against his dinos. I think we'll just run it back. He doesn't really have any flyers, but yeah, we'll just run it back. I think our deck's going to be good. Just have to come out strong, come out fast, have bounce spells for his 4-drop. Because he really didn't do anything to affect the board the early turns, so we don't want to raise our curve at all by adding aquatic incursions. Okay. This hand is very sketchy. We have 7 forests in our deck. So if we need to hit one on turn 2, or else we're in really bad shape. So we have turn 1 to draw, turn 2. So we have 2 draw steps. We have 7 in our deck. I don't think we can keep this. This is a keep. Put that on the bottom. So this hand is pretty bad, but I think the other hand just fails a very high percentage of the time, and then we just can't cast a single spell all game. Okay, that's one of our better cards for this situation. Helps us recover after our mulligan. Now we would ideally draw one of our 2-drops because we have like 10 in the deck, so. And he's not really doing anything to develop his board right now. So a 2-drop right here would be perfect. Okay, that was a card that costs 2. So I must be more specific. I need to be more specific for my deck, I guess. We needed to draw a 2-drop for our deck pretty much to function. Really unfortunate that we're just kind of drawing lands here and spells that we can't cast without our early drops. Okie doke. So now we're going to... I think we're going to develop our Seafloor Oracle and just hope it doesn't die. If it dies, we're pretty much going to lose the game, but I think that we didn't see any real removal. I mean, he could obviously have like pounces and stuff, but if we water not his Raging Registrar, we're not doing much. That's why we really needed a cheap creature this game, because now we have all the spells in the world, and we might not be able to get through a Raging Registrar. Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, this is kind of looking rough. If we draw a 2-drop, we can still water not the Registrar, or we could Crashing Tide the Registrar to look for a 2-drop, but we really do need to find a 2-drop this next turn. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go for that line. We're going to Crashing Tide this and try and draw a 2-drop. Okay. Because we need to get on the board before we start using our Artisan and our Boon. But I don't think that we're going to win this game. I think we just had too clunky of a draw. Okay. And yeah, this is just really looking bad. So next turn we can Water Knot and Siren Reaver. Could be good. Okay, he's looking for a mountain. Shake the Foundations is going to be excellent against us. Good to know about that card. He's keeping it. Probably wise. A good choice. And he's going to gain 2 extra life. Oh, this is looking very bad. And now we draw the 2-drop. Huh. Yeah, I think we're just going to play our Siren Reaver here and pass the turn. We could have played our Guildgrove, but then we'd be forced into Riverhild's Booning, which doesn't seem optimal here. We are taking 5, but I think we'll just tap down his Registrar, play our Guildgrove, and still have enough up for Riverhild's Boon. Yeah, I think we'll attack. We do need to start killing him. We are trading damage, essentially. Not really favorably, especially because he has to shake the Foundations. But we'll happily just trade off these two. Okay. Wow, that card's not very good against my deck in general. Okay, so now we'll play our... So he only has 3 cards in hand. So we're just going to try and get as much value out of this Riverhild's Boon as we can. And then we'll hope that our deck gives us something to work with. Because we're going to have to use our Riverhild's Boon to save it from Shake the Foundations. I'm surprised he didn't fire it off that turn. Maybe he wants to entice me to block here, hoping I'll forget about it. But then I really get him. I eat his guy for free in that scenario, and I am left with a 4/4 and a 2/2 unblockable. So hopefully we can get him to make a mistake here, or he just has double green cards in his hand. This was one of our, I think, one are the deck's worst curve outs we could have had. Okay, so we're going to respond to that by putting a counter on both of our guys. Pretty good for us. Good exchange. He doesn't have the mana up to use Shake the Foundations in response. And it looks like he doesn't have the mana to use Shake the Foundations this turn at all. So that was a very good turn of events for us. If he had the ability to use Shake the Foundations there, he could have finished this off and drawn a card, but as it is, we are in pretty good shape. Okay, so we're going to use this pre-combat to buff up our River Sneak. We don't need to put anything onto it itself because it still blocks the Seeker, Squire fine. Though we would like to be able to... So we're going to put the counter on the River Sneak assuredly. And I think we're going to put the counter on itself just so we can block the Seeker, Squire and hold back and not die to Shake the Foundations. So I consider just making this a 1-3 and making him use the Shake the Foundations, but I like kind of having a permanent blocker, and we're just going to hit him for 8. And now we have like a big clock here. And we knew he didn't have a combat trick, or he would have used it during the combat with Hunt the Weak. Okay, Dusk Legion Zealot. That's not a very good combo with Shake the Foundations, that's for sure. Having a 3-powered unblockable guy is very nice, especially because we have cards in our deck that'll just pump it up a little bit more. And now it looks like we're on the front foot here. Now we're definitely on the front foot. So we can bounce Seeker Squire, attack with the team. Or we could play a little... I think we're going to play a little bit more conservatively, though. Just send in with our River Sneak. And if we send in with this... So if we send in with just the River Sneak, then we're hitting him for down to 7, and then the next turn we can almost kill him, but we can't quite. If we like bounced our own Jadecraft Artisan. If we attack like this, he'll probably double block and go for the Shake the Foundations, though that would kill his... He would do the Shake the Foundations post-combat. And then we could Crashing Tide our own guy. So I kind of like this attack here with both our guys, and we can then Crashing Tide our own guy to save him. So he's just chump blocking, which is fine by me. We are doing well in this race. We have Crashing Tide, and things are looking good. And if he gets frisky or attacks, we can Crashing Tide. Okay. So we will just Crashing Tide that, so that we have our max mana up. Okay, that's not a great draw here. Okay, so if we'd drawn a Merfolk, I think we would have almost won, but now he'll have to chump with this thing. And we'll just not play our Kite Sail Corsair into the Shake the Foundations. So he's going to block, but I mean, he has to chump our Jadecraft Artisan or he dies. And now we'll just not play anything. No need to give him more chances. This was a game that I thought we were not going to have a chance at winning based on our draw, but our deck is just so powerful that we just were able to grind through everything and win. For anyone just tuning in, this is our deck. Pretty strong, I think. We're not running our Aquatics or our Souls in the main deck. Not running our Jade Guardian or our Brontodon. For this one's because double green's going to be hard for us to get. Not running Jade Bearer because I don't really like that card, and I think it's kind of bad in our deck because, yeah, it's too easy to block effectively, and so many of our creatures are hard to block. But yeah, this is a very good deck, I think. I really enjoy it. This is the type of deck I really like playing. Good in tempo, good just everything. I would like to play first. And this is going to be... So if we knew we had a island, I think we could keep it. We're just going to mulligan this. We really need islands to be able to function properly. So we're going to keep this Scrya land at the top if we can. Perfect. Actually, having double green is relevant this game. So hopefully our opponent can't really interact with us very well, and we'll just go Corsair into Reaver, into Raptor, and then we'll have Boon. That's not going to be insane, but it'll be fine. Okay, so he's cracking on his turn, so he lets us know what's up a little bit. So we just need one land, or Merfolks are going to be good because we'll have our River Herald's Boon. But we just want to make sure we can attack with this. If he has like a creature, we're happy, but a Moment of Craving would be kind of annoying. So he's playing black-green. Got a Hardy Veteran. That's perfect for us, because that can't really deal with anything we're doing here. Though ideally we prefer him to not have any 2-drop. But that's maybe hoping for a little bit too much. So now we can attack, play our Siren Reaver. We have our Forest for our Ripjaw Raptor. So we know we're going to curve out on him. And things are looking up. Three colors, that's nice. He's probably splashing black, that's why he fetched it with the Evolving Wilds. So he's probably white-green primary. Okay. Vanquish the Weak is a good card. Still is. Has been for a while. Okie doke. So we're going to be able to play our Ripjaw Raptor. And attack with our Kitesail Corsair. Jadecraft Artisan does let us use our River Herald's Boon next turn, but we can just tap out to use our Jadecraft Artisan too. So be able to pump up our Kitesail Corsair or our Ripjaw Raptor depending on what he plays. This was actually a very good draw. A Pious Interdiction for our Raptor would be kind of annoying. Whiptail. Okay, so that's going to be fine for us. So now I think we'll just bounce the Grazing Whiptail. Or we could... Yeah, we're just going to bounce the Whip. So I really want to get the Jadecraft Artisan down. I think we're going to play the Artisan because then we could potentially Crashing Tide and Boon if we draw a land. So what do we put the counters on for our Artisan? So we could do this, and then it trades with that. But then he has a pretty decent double block on this, and we end up trading this. But we draw a card in that scenario, so I think we're fine with that. And we would still have our Kitesail Corsair, and he wouldn't have a reach creature for it. So I think we'll happily trade off our Ripjaw Raptor for a Grazing Whiptail here. Not happily, but we're fine with it. And if he just blocks here, we're fine. And if he doesn't block at all, we're also fine. Okie doke. As expected. And we do draw a card here. If we draw a land, we can double spell. And Run Aground is pretty good too, because now we'll pretty much just be able to bounce whatever he plays that's consequential. And we do have our River Herald's Boon if we need it. Okay, Deathgorge Scavenger. Going to gain him some life. Is kind of an annoying card. Yeah, so he gains 2 life. Yep. Okie doke. So now we can attack, play our Boon on this if he blocks it. Yeah, I think we're just going to do that. And we can also play our Kitesail Corsair. He could have a removal spell, but if he had Skullduggery, which is pretty much all he could have, then I think he would have played the Skullduggery. So this is 5. We're pretty fine with that. If he's just taking it, then I think we'll just pass the turn with our Run Aground up. Because no matter what he does, we can Run Aground or we can Crashing Tide even. Okay, so he is going to gain 2 life here and eat one of my creatures from my graveyard. But we don't really care about that because it means he doesn't really have a good block anymore. Because now we can just Run Aground whatever he's going to play post-combat. Okay. And the thing about Run Aground is no matter what, it's going to be probably pretty fine. Though he can now shuffle away whatever he wants. Okay. So that's a very good card. That's why he's splashing. Okay. So we can't put that on top of his deck, unfortunately. So he's cracking that now. So we are going to run aground the Hardy Veteran, make him draw that. Drew an island, which was kind of good for us. Attack. And then we will play a Kitesail Corsair. And if he wants to use Profane Procession, we can bounce his Death Gorge Scavenger and he won't be able to replay it, I don't think. He'll be 1 mana off. If he exiles one of our flyers, I think we win. Okay. Or we're kind of close to winning. So we could bounce our own flyer. That doesn't really get us anywhere, though. I think we'll just bounce his guy. So he can't gain life. He'll gain life next turn. Or actually, he won't gain life unless he jumps with the Hardy Veteran. Okay. Going to attack. He'll probably jump with Hardy Veteran. Yep. And this way he'll gain 2 life. But we're still okay. If he doesn't have a land in hand, okay, so he does have land, so he can play this, gain 2 life, go up to 6. So now we need to draw something, because he can eat our Jadecraft Artisan with the Profane Procession. Okay, so hoping to draw any Merfolk off the top and we win, I think. Because I think he's going to get rid of this thing, though I'm not sure. If he doesn't get rid of this thing, he'll have to chump it. Okay, yeah, he gets rid of that. So any Merfolk and we win because of our River Sneak. And we have mana enough to cast everything. Okay, so we win now. Very close game. Very close indeed. So this is going to go up to 2 power. Goes up to 4 power. And we have lethal. Very close game. Profane Procession almost managed to take it from us, but we managed to pull it off. So knowing he has Profane Procession makes me want to bring in my counter spells and my Naturalize. Though I probably don't need all 3 of these. I'll probably bring in Negate and Cancel just because, and Naturalize just because I might not have the mana. It makes me want to bring in Soul of the Rapids because that's hard to interact with. Jade Guardian is the same reason. Oh, I think I'm going to main deck bring in the Thrashing Brontodon. Now that I know he's got that card, because I can kill it with Thrashing Brontodon. I have a pretty decent deck against it, though. I don't think I'm going to be able to bring in the Souls of the Rapids just because they're too expensive. I'll probably try to kill him before he can kill me with that card. I think I'll take out the Runaground for a Thrashing Brontodon and a Deadeye Righauler for a Naturalize. Mostly just trying to stay low to the ground, though. And then I can take out an island for a forest. Because I'm adding 2 green cards and cutting 2 blue cards. And that helps me play the Thrashing Brontodon on curve. And I'll try it like that. I don't think I'm going to be a negate style of deck here. I like my sideboard changes there. I think this is a fine hand. We're going to keep it on the draw, especially because we just sided in an extra forest. And our River Sneak into Vine Shaper into Jadecraft is just a very fast curve out if we draw forest. If we don't draw forest, it's not the end of the world, but obviously we're going to hit forest first, draw a step every time because that's how we drew it up. So we're going to put him on a very fast clock here. Him being on the play is annoying, but he doesn't have black mana yet, so... Okay, another River Sneak is nice. We could just potentially just play our second River Sneak and then double Vine Shaper Mystic them the next turn. I think we're going to do that just to diversify our threats, and because we're just going to be trying to race him. We have our Crashing Tide to kill his stuff. To bounce his stuff for tempo. If he doesn't have a card here, we're probably just going to win, I think. He has Emissary of Sunrise, which I don't really mind. He hit a forest off of it. Okie doke. that means I'm going to play my Vine Shaper Mystic, though. Actually, yeah, we're still just going to stay on curve, because then we can go this card, and then Jadecraft Artisan, and then River Sneak plus Crashing Tide, so it's still just a very good curve out if we... And now we can block his Emissary and his Hardy Veteran. So we are doing fine in this race. We're going to have a lot of power coming through that's unblockable, and then we're going to be able to have our Crashing Tide up. So I think we're in good shape here. And he might not have black mana yet, which is very good for us. It means his Profane Procession is not online. So Death Gorge is not an insane draw here because it can't really get through our Vine Shaper Mystic. No attacks is very good for us. Okay, so... I don't think we want to play Gilt Grove plus River Sneak, though it is a consideration. Maybe I do want to do that. I think getting down the second River Sneak is going to be good, so I think I'm going to do that, actually, instead of the Jadecraft Artisan play. It does mean that I can't, like, double spell with Crashing Tide, but it means that I will be able to get in more damage with unblockable guys, and this is going to be a 4-power unblockable guy here. 2 River Sneaks is quite good, so I'm pretty happy to have both of those down. And also, Gilt Grove can't be blocked by First Strike or Hardy Veteran, so he'll have to trade Death Gorge for it, which would be very good for me. So overall, I think I'm in pretty good shape. I'm going to turn the light on 1 moment. That's much better. Okay, Imperial Ceratops. Fine draw, but since I'm never planning on blocking, it's not great. It's not horrible. And now I'm pretty happy I have the River Sneak down. So I think I'm going to go with Crashing Tide on the Ceratops. It's just going to help me get through for more damage, because now I can attack with my Gilt Grove Stalker. As well, if I trade it with Death Gorge Scavenger, I'm pretty happy. And then next turn I can Jadecraft Artisan. Or I can just Crashing Tide again, but I don't think I will Crashing Tide it now because Gilt Grove traded off. Okay. So I can just hold back, play it safe. Water Knot, excellent draw here. I'll just play my land. I think I'm actually going to hold the Jadecraft to burst him from 1 turn, because I'm going to put him to 7 and then I'll kill him next turn. So I'm just going to hold up my Crashing Tide to protect my stuff and attack him for 3 damage, because then next turn this is exactly 7. So if he taps out, I can just kill him and Crashing Tide. I'm kind of worried about him having a Pounce alongside the Imperial Ceratops, because that way he would gain 2 life and kill my River Sneak, and that would be quite bad. Okay, that's not a problem for me. Okay, so I just win the game now. So that's pretty good. We'll Crashing Tide anyway, just in case. I don't think there's nothing he could have, but just in case I did math wrong or something, I want to play optimally. We'll put it on this. So this is going to be 3, yeah, exactly 7. Okie doke, pretty easy wins so far. Let's hope it holds up in the final round. I still don't think I want the Thrashing Brontodon, because mana can be an issue when you only have 6 green sources. And I do have a ton of great cards anyway, but I think I'm going to do fine without it. Don't need the expensive Aquatic Incursions or the Souls of the Rapids. But yeah, I think the deck's pretty solid. I think the card that I'd be most likely to play is Thrashing Brontodon, but it's hard to play that card in a deck like this, where you don't have enough green sources to go around. River Sneak is performing very well, pretty much as well as I could have hoped for. We managed to beat the Profane Procession too, which is kind of cool. Undefeated against Profane Procession. When my opponent plays that card, I beat them every time. We're playing against Alvion. We would like to play first. Pretty good start. And we will keep this hand. It doesn't have a green source, but we have our turn 2 Kitesail Corsair, which can just start getting in. We have a Water Knot, which we can presumably cast if we draw land. And if we do draw a forest, we have our Jungleborn Pioneer and our Boon. So I think we're going to be in fine shape this game. And we do have a ton of blue cards that cost exactly 2, so we'll be fine, I think. And having any third land is good here. But obviously we prefer it to be a forest. So Gleaming Barrier is the exact type of card we want to face because it doesn't really do much against our deck. We're just going to keep playing our Kitesail Corsairs, and then we'll Water Knot anything that actually matters. This is one of the other reasons why I think Deadeye Rig Hauler is so good in our deck, because we can just use the Rig Hauler to bounce anything if we have a Kitesail Corsair out, pretty much. We're just going to hope our opponent doesn't have a Chupacabra or something to really get us, though we would still be probably fine. Okay, so that's probably going to get Water Knotted. I can't imagine. I mean, he is blue-black, so he doesn't have an insane number of flyers. But I just don't want to have to deal with the flyer. I'm just hitting for 4 a turn, and I don't have any. I have other spells to cast for if I draw lands, so I'm probably Water Knotting that over a Crashing Tide for sure, because we don't want to give him more Explore triggers. I do draw a card if I use Crashing Tide, but I'm just going to keep on hitting him for 4. And I'll just bounce another flyer if he plays another flyer. So he's going to play another island, presumably. Unless he goes Swamp, Chupacabra. As soon as I see black, I'm worried. But yeah, these 2 cards, pretty much all you need. They're really hard to deal with. When you're backing them up with Crashing Tide, they're even better. So he did play the island. See, Sailor of Means is just not insane against my deck. It doesn't attack very quickly, and it doesn't block any of my creatures. I mean, it does block like Jungleborn Pioneers and stuff, but most of my creatures get through it. I have 2 Gilt Groves, I have 3 Kitesails, and then I have 3 River Sneaks. Okie doke. So I will just attack with both, and then I will Deadeye Rig Hauler his Gleaming Barrier. It's just pretty much free to do it. I'm not going to Rig Hauler his Sailor of Means, because he might have like a double splash he's setting up. But getting rid of the Gleaming Barrier means his Sailor of Means might have to block. Opponent still doesn't know my second color. We'll just get rid of the Gleaming Barrier. Don't want to give him another Enters the Battlefield trigger from the Sailor. And we will use the ability. And if he does draw a flyer, we can just Crashing Tide it. So we have a pretty good setup here. So if he played Air Elemental, we would be just short of getting him, which is a bit unfortunate. But I think we're going to be in fine shape. We're going to be fine. So he's getting a double black spell, maybe. Mayhaps. Golden Demise, quite good here. Kills all my stuff. Not much I can do. That card's just very good against me naturally, and yeah. I'm not going to play around it until I've seen it. Unfortunately, I do have quite a few dead draws now. But I'll just have to play around that card in the next game. Forest would be nice. Crashing Tide. I mean, Island pretty much the absolute worst draw in my deck because it doesn't help me cast anything, and I don't know. We're still not out of this yet at all. We do have like our River Sneaks and our Sea Floor Oracle and all sorts of good stuff in our deck still. It's just kind of annoying. We got 3 for 1 with the Golden Demise. We did use the Water Knot very aggressively there to help us get in 8 damage. We could have just traded off one of our guys for the Siren Lookout. We'll probably do that in the next game when we know he has Golden Demise. Like if we are in the same situation. Prosperous Pirate's definitely annoying. That puts on a bit more of a clock on us, so we do have to find something soon now, I think. But I think Jungle Born Pioneer plus Crashing Tide and River Herald's Boon is going to be very good because it's going to be a 4/4 that really destroys one of his double blocks. So when we do find a forest, we're going to be in pretty good shape, I think. Okay, so 2 more treasure for him. We just need to find our green source. If we'd found a green source last turn, we'd be in pretty good shape, I think. As it is, we're kind of nervous about finding enough stuff to do. Because, I mean, we do have green cards in our deck. Okay, so he's kind of getting a bit aggressive now. Green, there we go. So Jungle Born Pioneer going to be pretty good here, I think. We do still have Crashing Tide, but I think we're going to save it for next turn where we can attack him, force the double block, and then Boon plus Crashing Tide. And he might not even double block. He might just single block with Gleaming Barrier or something, and then we can just get him. So we'll take 7 here, go to 12. Seafloor Oracle would be a nice draw because we're guaranteed to get in with one of our guys pretty much. We'll probably end of turn Crashing Tide if he plays another creature here. Though I think he might be out of gas. I was wrong. We still will end of turn Crashing Tide. We'll get rid of the 3/4. We would have probably ideally been able to use it in combat, but I think this is a fine attack. Make our guy into a 4/4. Yeah, I considered saving it for sure, but I thought we might draw more action that we wanted to be able to use. And yeah, that's why I did that. Now he's going to be able to hold the back blockers, and Soul of the Rapids is annoying. Yeah, until I play a forest, they might put me on pirates of some kind, but yeah, it doesn't really matter what they put me on. It's not like I can play any of the cards that they would think a pirates deck might have. So they're just going to hit me for 7. I think I'm going to block this time. Because you never know. If they're doing this now, it means they might have a removal spell to get rid of my blocker, or a pump spell, or a 1 with the wind for next turn to surprise attack damage me. So I do have to draw something here. Or I lose, but I'm probably not going to win this game anyway. Most of the time. I got really wrecked by Golden Demise, and I got kind of color screwed, and then I flooded. So I had all 3 of the bad things you can do in a game. Golden Demise, yeah, and then mana problems. But I feel confident about game 2 and 3. I think our deck has a very good matchup against this deck. Okay. And that's just going to do it. Okay. So, what comes out? Definitely don't want these against Golden Demise. Could bring in a negate for Golden Demise. I think we're going to do that. It's just so good against us. And then we could bring in Crash the Ramparts to help push through. Which of our creatures just get totally blanked? I think most of our creatures are pretty good, so we're probably going to bring this in over a Jungle Born Pioneer because he pretty much has endless blockers. Though Jungle Born Pioneer is really good with River Sneak. I think we'll try it like this. We'll bring in we could bring in a cancel too over a Rig Hauler. Yeah, having 2 counter spells for Golden Demise seems good. He probably also has some like removal spells that are kind of clunky. And he didn't really have any good bounce targets. All of his guys tend to have like an enter the battlefield trigger. This is still probably better than cancel though. Though it doesn't really attack past anything, so it's pretty much just a bounce spell, and we already have bounce spells. Because the thing is he has a bunch of 0/4s and 1/4s and 3/4s, so this thing's kind of just not a creature that's relevant. I would like to play first. Man, this would be so good if we had a second land, because we even have our negate, but we're just going to mulligan. And we will keep this. Hopefully we can find a 2-drop and land. Unfortunate that we have to have kind of a clunky hand in our final round, but put that on top. We're not going to be too greedy here. Having a 2-drop would obviously be great, but if we never find our third land, we're kind of just in bad shape anyway. And I think he might struggle to deal with a Siren Reaver. There we go. Okay. So we might, on turn 3, hold up cancel to cancel a Sailor of Means, and then untap, play a Siren Reaver, depending on what we draw here. If we draw land, we'll probably do that. Okay, as it is, we'll just play our Kitesail Corsair into Siren Reaver and hope he doesn't have Golden Demise in hand. Though let's be real, he probably has it. Okay, hopefully he hits a land. So Arch of Erazga, fine land. Okay, so now we will attack, trade these off. Presumably, yep. Play our Siren Reaver. And now that we have a Siren Reaver, we can afford to start holding up stuff. And hopefully not get wrecked by a Golden Demise. When we know he has Golden Demise, trading these off is much better. We could have Water Trap Weavered and attacked, but oh my god. Okay. Ugh. This would be a turn where Jungleborn Pioneer over one of these cards would have been better, but I think overall it's good to have counters against him. Not going to do nothing, I guess, but that worked out very poorly. Ravenous Chupacabra is not a fair card. Ugh. So Spirewinder probably going to get Water Knotted. Or we could run around it at the end of his turn. I think we'll do that. Hold up a cancel in case we need to cancel something more important. So it looks like he's missing double blue. Okay, so he's not attacking with the Chupacabra, which means he doesn't have a recover in his hand. Yep. Opponent just has like a kind of medium deck, but he has Chupacabra and Golden Demise. Oh man, that card's just not good against me. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but we'll run around that. So he's got a negate. Oh, Siren's Ruse, okay. So that seems a bit bad. I feel like he'd wanted to use that on Chupacabra almost every time. So I guess that's fine by me. So we are going to Water Knot that. It's a card that we can't really deal with a lot of our cards. Hopefully we have something to negate. We'll just hold back though, because we don't really want to trade 2 for 2 right here. I mean, we don't win the late game here, but because of the Arch of Orazca and the Blightkeeper is a kind of threatening card, but I mean, we can't really do much. We'll definitely block the Chupacabra here. We have a negate if he has a recover, so. No! Oh wait, it can't be countered anyway. Well, opponent's deck is actually much better than I thought it was. And our deck didn't really do much this game, so I think we just lost. But especially because our counter spells now draw my opponent a card. But yeah, unfortunate. We kind of had a very clunky draw in the finals here. We had mana problems and mulligans. And yeah. If we'd been able to go 1, 2, 3 against him, we might have had a chance, though. Chupacabra kind of shuts that down. Like our first hand, if we'd known there was a land on top of our deck, because we had a 1/1 unblockable and then a 2/1 flyer in our hand, and yeah. Unfortunate, but it happens. It's funny because cancel is generally very good against blue-black type decks because you can get a threat and then they try to tap out for their big stabilizer and you counter it, but Nezahal can't be countered, so that can be countered though. We're going to counter that. We're still dead next turn unless we find a blocker. He does draw a card off of it, but I mean, that's unavoidable. Okay, and Silvergill Adept. Not really what you want to see at this stage of the game, where it's just a jump blocker. Yeah, I don't see a way of us winning this one. Yep. Okay. Yep, I think that's going to do it. He'll just attack with Nezahal and the 1 and the bat. The bats actually can do 4 to us at some point. Never really able to get any pressure on this guy. He has a pretty good deck, though. And we'll scoop it up. We can't really beat that guy. Anyway, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click the thumbs up and subscribe to get updates for whenever I post new content. If you want to catch me streaming live, I stream on Twitch. There will be a link to it down in the description below. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. If you would like to connect with me on social media, you can find me on Twitter. Tweet me at NicolaiBolas. I tweet whenever I go live, whenever I have a new YouTube video, and whenever I have a 3-0 deck list. If you will have any questions or comments about the draft or the gameplay, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below, and I will happily respond with my thoughts or answers. Thank you so much if you were watching this on YouTube, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.